You mentioned your pessimism. You've been recorded saying quite a few times that Brexit is this sort of disaster for Britain, which is almost inescapable. But you were a large part of the People's Vote campaign, or you were on the advisory for whether the country should accept this new deal or not, and whether there should be a referendum on that. Now that hasn't quite worked, do you think the damages of Brexit are still reversible, or where do you see the direction of it going?
Oh, I think it's very hard. I mean, I was on Question Time on Thursday. I don't know if you saw it, and the audience was 100% Leave voters in Clacton, which is, one of the most Brexit voting places in the country. And it was quite interesting. I was in two minds about whether to do it. I thought it was a bit weird, literally 7 years on from the referendum, we were really having an audience where it's just people who voted Leave. But then I thought it'd be interesting to see how many have changed. And I'd say quite a few have. But more interesting, on the way, I went to a school in Clacton in a very tough area. Actually has as part of its catchment area one of the poorest areas in the country. And I did a survey at the end of the thing, and more than 90% would have voted to rejoin the European Union. And that's kids. And I just think that we've got ourselves, our politics has got itself into a position where it's almost like we can't even think about addressing a massive issue that the next generation just looks at and thinks, what on earth were you people doing? The book, my latest book, What Can I Do? But What Can I Do? I was talking to the kids about this, is about, I say, what one generation does, the next generation is entitled to undo. Now, it would be hard to undo Brexit. It'd be very, very hard to undo it. But it's done already so much damage. And one of the things that's most damaging of all is the fact that the people who fought for it can't even begin to admit to themselves or to the public that it is damaging. So on the panel, John Redwood was on the panel. The first question was, has the cost of living crisis got anything to do with Brexit? It's got absolutely nothing to do with Brexit. It's just nonsense. It's nonsense. We lost 10% value in the pound the day after. We've never got it back. Productivity's never come back. Investment has gone down. Inflation is not all about Brexit. I'm not as stupid enough to say that. It's also factors like energy prices, the war in Ukraine, the impact of COVID. But that Brexit is a factor in it, is undeniable, and yet they still deny it.
I think I saw you in that Question Time speech saying that it wasn't a market correction, it was a prediction of the future of Britain, and that's pretty depressing if that is the case.
Well, that is what happens when something like that 10% depreciation in value of the pound happens. That's the international market signaling what they think is going to happen. They're betting on the future, and on that bet, from their perspective, they've not been wrong, and we've not recovered from it.